My name is Aurora, and today we will discover what is an SNMP. Simple Network Management Protocol, SNMP, is a set of standards for communication with devices in a Transmission Control Protocol (TCP/IP) network. SNMP monitoring is useful if you are responsible for servers and network devices such as hosts, routers, hubs, and switches. It enables you to keep an eye on network and bandwidth usage and monitor important problems such as uptime and traffic levels. Monitoring via the Simple Network Management Protocol, SNMP, is the most basic method of gathering bandwidth and network usage data. SNMP is the most commonly used method because it requires minimal bandwidth and CPU cycles. If your network devices support SNMP or if you want to monitor large networks with several hundred or thousands of sensors, we recommend that you start with SNMP. SolarWinds Orion supports all versions SNMP: SNMP v1, SNMP v2c, SNMP v3. SNMP version 1 is the oldest and most basic version of SNMP. Please note, version 1 only supports 32-bit counters, which are not enough for high-load, gigabits per second bandwidth monitoring. SNMP v2c adds 64-bit counters. SNMP v3 adds authentication and encryption to SNMP. It is the newest version of SNMP. Its management framework features primarily involve enhanced security. The SNMP version you should choose depends on your environment. The most important aspect is to set the same SNMP version in the SolarWinds Orion settings as you have configured in your target device. If you select an SNMP version that is not supported by the server or device that you want to monitor, you receive an error message. If your network is publicly accessible, you might want to use SNMP v3, which has encryption and secure access. If your network is isolated or well protected behind firewalls, the lower security level of SNMP v1 or SNMP v2c might be sufficient. From the perspective of monitoring with SolarWinds Orion, SNMP v2c is preferable if you have a lot of devices to monitor. This lets you monitor more devices with a shorter scanning interval, and it supports 64-bit counters. What is the SNMP community string? The SNMP community string is similar to a user ID or password that allows access to the statistics of a device. SolarWinds Orion sends the community string along with all SNMP requests. If the correct community string is provided, the device responds with the requested information. If the community string is incorrect, the device discards the request and does not respond. By convention, most SNMP v1, v2c equipment ships with a read-only community string set to the value public. It is standard practice for network managers to change all the community strings to customized values during device setup. A network normally has at least one computer or server running monitoring software. It is the managing entity. A network will also most probably have a few, or many, or even really many, other devices, switches, routers, workstations, server racks, printers, coffee machines, or anything else that needs to be monitored. They are the managed devices. SNMP messages are sent and received between so-called managers and agents. Usually, the SNMP manager in the network is installed on the managing entity, and the SNMP agents are installed on the managed devices. Basically, the transfer of SNMP messages can be compared to the typical communication between a client and a server, offering both pull and push technologies. The pull or POL technology is the most common communication type where a client, like the network management software on the managing entity, sends out a request to solicit a response from a server or managed device. Its counterpart, the push technology, allows the managed device to speak and send out an SNMP message upon an event. SNMP uses the User Datagram Protocol, UDP, to transfer messages. It is necessary that UDP packets can make it from the agent to the manager for monitoring to be successful. This typically works by default on a local network, but additional router configuration is needed to allow such packets to traverse wider networks. SNMP agents receive UDP requests on port 161. Requests sent from an SNMP manager may be sent from any port. Usually, it's 161. Agents send traps via port 162. The SNMP manager also receives traps on port 162. I hope you enjoyed the video by Yes.